Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. Last week I noticed on a television clip that Jennifer Lopez was walking down, I think it was King Street in downtown Toronto. She was attending the TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. And across the street were a bunch of animal activists yelling and screaming at her in a pretty violent, aggressive way. I guess Jennifer Lopez wears fur and they didn't support her in that, to say it mildly. And it got me thinking about the fact that, you can have two different people or groups of people and they can see life very different from each other. And obviously the animal rights activists were frustrated, angered, incensed by the fact that Jennifer Lopez didn't see the reality the way that they understood it and saw it. And that reminded me about how, we each have to come to terms with the fact that other people aren't going to see life the way we see it. In fact, the differences can be quite stark sometimes. And it can cause us to get upset, angry, even depressed, certainly frustrated. You can see that in our personal lives. We can see it in our social life with each other. I mean, there's a federal election ongoing, and there are lots of different political parties, and there can be a lot of people voting for different political parties. Each party represents a certain philosophy or take on life. And somebody's going to get elected prime minister, and there's going to be a big swath of the electorate bewildered by how that person got elected prime minister. Even in our personal lives, we're sometimes confounded by other people who are very close to us and how they see the world differently than we do. I remember talking to a guy a while ago who was married for 38 years. And every week of his work life, his wife would send him to work with egg salad sandwiches, her egg salad sandwiches. They were the pride and joy of her culinary skill. Her church loved her egg salad sandwiches. Her social world held her egg salad sandwiches in high esteem, but he hated them. And for 38 years, he ate sandwiches he didn't like. And then finally one day he told her the truth, and it didn't go well. She was kind of shocked that he wouldn't love her sandwich. He was shocked by the fact that he wouldn't tell her for 38 years that he was eating sandwiches he didn't like. But he held off for all those years because he didn't want to risk the conflict. What was he afraid of in the conflict? Well, it wasn't about the thing itself. It was something deeper, I think. Often we all kind of flinch away from conflict because we don't want to risk the deeper argument, which is how we see life, how we have a take on something, how we interpret and understand life. And that happens to us over and over again. We flinch away from sharing our truth because we know there's a bigger argument to be had than just the thing itself. Sometimes I think we see life structured in such a way that we live across the street from each other, and when we acknowledge those differences, we're stuck in them. They become division points between people. We can't have fellowship or communion or connection with each other because the divisions on our take of life become so distinct in us that we lose connection with other people. And it makes me think about what Jesus taught us about the truth, about who we are and who we're having relationships with. Sometimes people will offer the truth because they're looking for the common ground. They may find the common ground in certain circumstances. I want to paint the wall blue, you want it green, so we get turquoise. But a lot of things in life don't lend themselves to finding common ground. And if we can't find the common ground, does that relegate us to always being at war with each other about life and how to understand it and our interpretation of life? And Jesus' answer to that is, well, don't look for the common ground so much, but look for the higher ground. Because there's a higher ground that we share with one another. And that higher ground is rooted in the fact that we are all derived from one source. We're all children of God. We all share the Maker's imprint in our lives. We see in each other the face of God standing before us. And if we can remember this truth, and we can recognize this truth, and we can live it out with each other, that no matter what kind of particular issue we're arguing about or what difference of opinion we hold, we might still manage to find together the higher ground that brings us together as one people. I'm thinking about those activists on King Street who are yelling at Jennifer Lopez. They obviously didn't see the daughter of God walking before them. If they had, they would have spoken to her in a different way, not to ignore the differences between them, but to recognize that in the midst of the difference, there is one true identity. We are all children of God.